Hey Spuddies, PotatoMcWhiskey here, and welcome to another Witcher Civ mod spotlight for Civilization 6. Now, today we're going to be taking a look at Nilfgaard, that is Emir van Emrys, and don't cut me up in the comments if I pronounce that wrong, because I genuinely have no real idea on how to pronounce that. It's been a long time since I've played a Witcher game. Now, this is honestly one of my favorite civs to play in the Witcher series of mods, which of course you can find links to, not only the mods themselves, but my other videos on these other civs in the mod, in the video description, etc. Listen, I'm losing my train of thought, but their first ability is Daithwin Adan in Cairn ep Morvud. So this is the ability, the leader ability of Emir van Emrys, and this gives him an additional wildcard policy slot in all governments. That's a very, very cool thing. It gives you a lot more flexibility, especially in the early game, but it gives you a lot of flexibility throughout the entire game to just have an extra wildcard policy slot. Now, they also get, alongside this, an extra +1 governor title every time they capture a city-state or another civilization's original capital. This is a really, really interesting and unique mechanic because it kind of incentivizes you not to make friends with city-states, but instead to do a timing attack. Normally, a lot of civs incentivize you to be friends with city-states, so it's kind of interesting to see an ability that brings you to head with them, or head-to-head with them, rather. So I find that really, really cool. They also get the Mongolian bonus of all units, doubling the usual combat bonus for having higher diplomatic visibility than their opponent. This definitely drives you down more of a spying direction, where you want to spy on your enemies, you want to research the, what is the name of that thing that gives you extra visibility? Printing, you want to do printing, and you want to get some of those great merchants, I believe, can give you visibility as well. So definitely a civ that excels at domination and also espionage, which I quite like. I like that. That's a kind of a cute and interesting idea. Now, the Nilfgaardian civ themselves also has the administration of the provinces ability, which gives you a free builder when you capture a foreign city. This is quite powerful. It actually gives you a lot of snowball on top of if you go for Warlord's Throne for an extra 20% production when you conquer a civ. And then you can also use builders to complete districts. If you manage to get the +2 builder charge card, you could be running around with, every time you conquer a city, you'll get a 5 charge builder, and then you can immediately use that builder to make a district. Very, very cool. Very, very powerful. Very, very interesting ability, and I like it quite a lot. Now, that's not all of the ability, because they also get no yield penalty in occupied cities, further incentivizing them to go on the offensive and conquest. And also, spies take no time to establish presence in an enemy city, so it's much easier to move your spies around and actually gather that intel to take advantage of that diplomatic visibility. I love the idea of a civ that's based around having really strong governors, doing a lot of espionage, and going to war, but that's only really the beginning, because their abilities kind of get a little bit insane as we get to here. The Fire Scorpion unit is kind of blowing my mind when I actually got to use it. I'm pretty sure it's a like half era sooner bombard that moves really fast and hits really hard. It's a super powerful unit, and you can do a really effective timing attack by building catapults or trebuchets and then upgrading into it, provided you have the niter, because it does take niter. Both of their strategic units actually take niter, or both of their unique units take niter, which is a little bit of a downside for the civ, in that it kind of requires you to get lucky and find the right strategic resources. But if you do, you can pull off an incredible timing attack and do insane work with this civ. I definitely feel like the Fire Scorpion is a real hero here, but the Nausicaa Brigade is not to be ignored. Now, this is basically a knight that costs about 50% more than a knight, but it has +5 combat strength and it can attack twice. And that might not sound like it's much of an advantage. It's very expensive to maintain, but my God, it can completely sweep away the battlefield, especially if you have diplomatic visibility bonuses, maybe if you have a great general hanging around. This unit can get work done on the battlefield very effectively and can even go toe-to-toe with same era anti-cavalry units pretty effectively. Very, very powerful unit. I'm a big fan of it. And it really fits the overall theme of doing a sort of late medieval, well, mid-medieval timing attack. Now, the Nilfgaardian Imperial Camp is the unique infrastructure for the Nilfgaard, and it is a superb district. Okay, it's half price, So it's cheaper to build, and it grants you +2 loyalty, +2 science, and +2 culture for each building in it. So if you build a barracks, you will get +2 culture, +2 science, and +2 loyalty. Incredibly, incredibly fun building to use. It means you don't need to build campuses. It means you don't need to build theater squares. You can get almost all of your science and gold from just building commercial hubs and Nilfgaardian imperial camps and maybe industrial zones so that you can produce those late game units a little bit more effectively. It also gives all your land units an extra 25% combat military experience. Super powerful, super fun to use. And this is like what I would say is like the economic power of this civ. And it might sound strange that the economic power is coming from a unique encampment district is giving you economic power. And yes, because what it does is it means you don't have to build campuses. You don't have to build libraries. You don't have to get your science from elsewhere. And you could do a really, really effective commercial hub into Nilfgaardian Imperial Camp timing attack where you go for Fire Scorpions and Nausicaa Brigades. And as long as you hit the timing relatively well, pretty much no civilization should be able to stand up against you. So I would super recommend trying this civ out. It's very, very fun, really enjoyable. And if you want to see me play this civ, keep watching this video. There is a little bit of example footage coming. And if you want to see me look at the other civs in this mod, go ahead and check those out too. But other than that, I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys in a moment, I guess, because this video isn't actually ending because I'm dumb. Anyway. Okay, Emir van Emry. This is the Empire of Nilfgaard, and they have some interesting abilities. This is a little bit of an exploration, but overall, this feels very much so. It kind of feels similar. It plays similarly to the other civ that I did. That was like a military timing attack civ, which is not necessarily a bad thing that they are similar. We did start with like really, really good tiles here. So let's see if we can kind of formulate a build. We want to do some sort of timing attack that involves Fire Scorpions and the Nausicaa Brigade. Now, the Nausicaa Brigade cannot be pre-built. That's like one of the big downsides. So we're probably going to want to do something that involves trebuchets. And to get trebuchets, we'll need to build armories, which comes at military engineering, which means we want to build aqueducts, which means we want to build walls, which means we want to build quarries. So like we're kind of starting to chain together a plan here. There is a quarry here, so we can take advantage of that. And we will build that quarry. Do I like the idea of starting in place? Honestly, starting in place here seems pretty decent. I don't see a reason to move. Yeah, I'm relatively happy with this. In fact, there is actually a quarry on the gypsum, although we probably won't actually work that tile. I think settling in place is fine here. Now, as to our opening moves, I do feel like going double scout is like a really good default move. Although I could go for a greedy monument settler play, but that's like super greedy. I feel like getting 2 scouts is just such a safe opener, especially in terms of era score, because if we can get a golden age, it has a lot of potential power for us. And in fact, we did find a barbarian village. It's not within 6 tiles of our capital, which is a little bit unfortunate. We do have pretty low quality land as at a first glance. But I can grab that tribal village and gain a free builder. Now, a free builder has some potential here. We'll be able to get a super early quarry. I could get it on the quarry, or I could harvest the stone at masonry. I think I prefer the harvesting of the stone at masonry, so I got to improve the gypsum first. Oh, nice. We found Lyria. Lyria gives us tourism for each level of peel if adjacent to a farm. Ooh, interesting. I like Lyria. That's a cool one. So we finished mining. We want to head towards masonry. Although I think our main goal will be to get to currency this game, so that we actually have the finances to run an empire. Let's quickly grab a monument so we can get to faster settler construction a little bit sooner. We also found the Galapagos. That has potential. It would be really cool if you could see some Witcher natural wonders built into the mod. I think that would be a really, really cool idea. So Code of Laws is quite good. We can plug in God King and Urban Planning, which allows us to both get a Pantheon and actually produce at maximum efficiency. Really, really poor starting location here for this civ, unfortunately. So I'm going for a fast early empire, which means I have a lot of spare production in my capital. So I can get early granary, which will give me a lot of mid-game tempo. Even if it costs me a bit of early tempo, it's kind of like I'm moving my power window forward in the game's timeline, essentially, which is not always the optimal move, but it can be an optimal move. Okay, my warrior just barely escaped that quadrireme, which is honestly a little bit spooky. So, good escape. Grab the trader for the boost to currency, because we don't even know if it's viable for us to go for a timing attack. Because we don't even know where our enemies are. You need to meet someone to know who you're going to timing attack, right? You can't just blindly timing attack. You got to be prepared. You got to be ready. We have found a lot of city-states. I think maybe we'll do some sort of timing attack on these city-states. Ooh, I like that idea, actually. That actually lines up really well with my civ's abilities. Okay, this has potential here. We met Full Test, perfect. Nice to meet you. And he's going to be a very easy transition fight through these city-states, so Huge potential here for this game kind of unfolding. We have a Pantheon now, and there's a few potentials. Like getting a free settler right now would be huge. Extra production from marsh and floodplain is not bad either, because there is like a few marsh around. Yeah, there's like a few knocking around in the area. I think I will take the free settler. Even though it'll make future settlers more expensive, being able to do a 4-city opener has a lot of appeal, as opposed to a 3-city opener. It's quite rare that you can do that. Now, I don't really have room for a 4-city opener, but I'm going to try to make it work. But yeah, now that we have our Pantheon, we don't need God King anymore. We can go ahead and plug in settlers. Boom, boom, boom. And crank out 2 more settlers. I would love to get Edamananki though. That would be amazing, but I don't think we'll get it this game. I think we have to play tempo, which means go for the correct things. Now, if I'm thinking about the correct way to play, I feel like is going Pingala. Pingala just is always the correct play. It's like an unfortunate reality that like if I'm putting civs through their paces, like I should do the correct play. I lost my barbarian scout, killed my trader. That's unfortunate. However, the trader was mostly built for the commercial hub boost, and it's only 22 production that I lost, so I can really quickly finish that off and rebuild it without too much hassle. I'm trying to think about where the most optimal place to settle is. I think it's right here, because that gives me a good, yeah, this gets me the best tiles in the first ring. I think the opening play is always to go monument into your first district, so that seems reasonable. And then we also want to do government plaza. So I'm expecting us to fall behind slightly now, but our timing attack on these city-states should go really, really well, because city-states are much worse at preparing for timing attacks than other civs. So timing attacking a city-state usually goes really, really well, actually. The only major problem we have at the moment is we don't have good places for our commercial hubs, which is the main district we want to go for here in the opening stages of the game. We've got a lot of money in the bank. I think things are going relatively fine. So we have state workforce. Let's go for political philosophy. We can get our government. We can upgrade connoisseur on you. Perfect. The build is coming together. Now we're doing pretty well on culture. Falling behind a little bit on science, but that's kind of to be expected. We'll probably fall behind on science until we have our commercial hubs and encampments up. So I had to rebuild my trade route here, and rather than searching for gold, I'm going to do internals. I'm going to go from Darn Ruach to Nilfgaard, because it just finished its monument, which means we can start the commercial hub. And unfortunately, I don't have very good places for the commercial hub, so I'm just going to put it on an easy tile like that. This city also really badly needs a granary in order to actually grow, because it's got a hard cap at 3 population, and it actually has tiles worth working. So the granary is going to just give this city so much tempo. Now, the commercial hub, I think, in this city... Yeah, I think it just goes here. I think it just goes on this river. Where on the river, though, is the question. You know what? Where doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you said. Sorry, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, possessed me there for a moment. So yeah, we'll trade with our capital. That'll get us +1 food, +1 production. And that will scale as we build more districts in the capital. And then we'll be able to get more trade routes and sort of accelerate our entire empire along, which will be really, really nice. So the world entered into the classical era. We didn't quite get a golden age as far as I can tell, which is slightly unfortunate. Maybe I could have bought a galley. Maybe I could have maybe done more to secure it. How far was I off? I think I was 2 points off. Actually, you know what? Let's just go back a turn and see if we can do it, because I wasn't thinking about it. And this is supposed to be putting a save through its paces. So I want to see if it's doable. Yeah, I kind of analyzed things, and I could probably get a golden age, but I don't think it's worth it. So I'm just going to accept things the way they were. Now, if I'm thinking about the government, that would work really well with this. I do think that Classical Republic has a lot of power here with the housing and amenities and the extra great people points. So let's grab that, and we'll retool the government. We definitely want caravanseries because we want that gold income to start coming in. We don't particularly care about too much else though. We don't even care about the influence points for most of these. Really what we're looking for is to prepare a timing attack on these city-states. So with the completion of political philosophy, I think our next step is to pick up things like military tradition, defensive tactics, head towards mercenaries so that we can get cheaper unit upgrades. That's going to formulate a part of our early game strategy. Right, let's buy a trader in Dard Ruin and then get started to work on the commercial hub. We really want to get the government plaza. We also want to build ancient walls in here. How soon do I have to build ancient walls? I could probably build ancient walls later. So I'll go government plaza for now, right there. Then ancient walls. So we're gearing up for the timing attack here. We also want to build a water mill, which means we want to research wheel. I was hoping to boost that with mining a resource. Also need to start thinking about where I'm going to get my builders from. Severe lack of builders right now. Probably will come from this place once my markets are complete. I like seeing these markets roll in. A surprise war? By who? Foltest. Kingdom of Temeria. What? what does he think he's going to achieve? I guess he's attacking me? With what? How odd. Yeah, I guess I'll buy a galley to make my coastal cities invincible. Now he shouldn't be able to defeat them, and I can basically ignore him, I think. Right? That should be a thing. Let's go ahead and take Researcher on Pingala, because it's the next step. We also have another governor title. I think Victor is the correct play there. Put that in Darren Rowan to keep that safe. He wants to buy my iron. I'm going to need all of my iron this game for my units. So unfortunately, I don't think I can trade those away. We have the watermill, which is the boost for construction. So we can get started on... What's our next phase? So we need to get military engineering up and running. I don't care about mathematics. I could probably take a turn or two to get animal husbandry and archery. So builders are a big lack. Something I'm missing. We have found a source of horses. It was underneath those, so that's not great. I think I will buy a builder over here to slowly improve this city. We're heading into a dark age, which I'm fine with. I'm okay with a dark age. It's quite difficult to get anything other than a dark age when you're on deity difficulty, so you kind of have to live and accept with what you get. We have the market. We have the commercial hub. The only thing we're missing now is the Nilfgaard Imperial Camp. So we'll get that down and get a construction. This is also a coastal city. I probably should have rushed a granary in it, but however, I did not. And I will have to live with that decision. The free settler for city opening feels quite good, to be honest with you. Oh god, he's got catapults on the way. I feel like we're holding pretty well. I think now is the time to actually buy an archer, though. It's becoming a little bit of a problem, what we're dealing with here. But unfortunately, we still have to power hard for our eco before we can really commit to building troops. We have to rely on our gold to make our troops. So we got our first Nilfgaardian Imperial camp, and now when we build barracks, we will see dividends from that, so that'll be good. However, I think this is a civ that actually wants to go stables again. But they're worth 2 science and 2 culture, so that should really, really pump us up now. So now we need to start thinking about military engineering, which means we need to start thinking about aqueduct. And you know what? I'm going to cancel the stable, pre-chop this tile, and slap an aqueduct down there, and then go for the stable, just so we can get the boost for military engineering. I'm feeling relatively safe, though. I'm not worried about the potential repercussions of my actions. I think we're getting away with it, essentially, is what it feels like. Although I have noticed that a lot of the civs in this format are very, very aggressive, and it makes an interesting game, you know? You need to figure out how do I survive while also trying to do all these other things. So we have feudalism now, so our builders are going to be souped up. So now is the time to get those builders. I'll spend cash on that to get those up and running. And now is the time to start building catapults, which can eventually be upgraded into fire throwers or whatever they're called. I think I would like Fultus to piece me out now, because my greed is starting to catch up with me. So we'll see if that's what he will do, because I don't actually want to go to war with him yet. I would like to go to war with someone else. So let's see, how does he feel about peace? So he is just flat out refusing peace right now, which, you know, is not very, not very kosher. Just in a little bit of a pickle. I mean, we're surviving. The problem is, like, when you get attacked like this, like, it completely ruins your timing attack. And it has happened to be in every game I've played so far. So it is becoming a bit of a problem. So we have mercenaries now, which means we can upgrade units for half price. I think it would be good to get monarchy so that we can build heavy and light cavalry units faster, because we're getting to the point now we're going to want to build these Nausicaa brigades. We also have a classical era great general to hang out with my catapults, so they can move and attack and do all sorts of cool things. Let's also grab our Warlord's Throne. You, down here, Darren Ruick. I don't need anything other than the Nilfgaardian Imperial Camp. Probably just quickly grab walls in here, although I don't need the walls. I definitely need builders. Super light on builders. I need to chop out things. So that should definitely formulate a part of my strategy. I'm loving the high mobility catapults. Actually, this feels like a strategy that I should use more often, is like the moving catapults with a great general. I guess it only really works with this civ because of their particular bonuses. So we have stirrups now. I think it's time to head towards military engineering and get the trebuchet and the fire scorpion. You can start on the first Nausicaa brigade. Or do I want to... I think I go double builder here. Is 4 catapults enough, do you think? It'll have to be. It'll have to be enough. So we have Warlord's Throne. Let's start our first Nausicaa brigade. Right, now's the time to begin it? Yeah, sure. I think once these Nausicaa brigades are out on the field, like, our power level will become very, very difficult for the enemies to deal with. I mean, already these high mobility catapults, they're just shredding. So I have access to armories now. I would like to build at least 1 armory for the boost to gunpowder, which allow me to get the fire scorpions up and running. And then I think my timing attack window is basically active. Having the extra city honestly meant that I could absorb that attack just so much more effectively. Although one thing that was unfortunate is I think the trader in Darren Rowan was murdered, which is obviously not ideal. So let's go ahead and I'm not building any more builders, right? Yeah, I've got no more builders on the way. Well, I've got one more builder on the way. So when we get to Divine Right, we'll do a little bit of a tech switch for gunpowder upgrades. I think Lyria will be our first target because it should be the easiest one for us to take and hold. And then Maecht should be next, I guess. We are falling behind massively, but my hope is that the timing attack is strong enough to carry me through. So the first Nilfgaard brigade has landed, which means I think the first attack on Lyria can begin. Although this might be like slightly premature because I'm like 2 turns away from getting fire thingies. But we'll see. I do want to build armories everywhere though, because I get so much science and culture out of them that they just really, really help. It's interesting though because at least from a single player perspective, all of these civs have their window of power like literally designed around when the AI is the strongest. Kind of an interesting design decision, but we can double attack with these. Ooh, not quite enough. We'll wait. I guess we'll pillage for health and do that again next turn. But yeah, even like 4 catapults with a great general can like do work here. Let's quickly buy an extra builder. 1 final 5 charge builder before we switch. He wants peace now. I refuse peace. I disavow peace. He ruined my day. Now we have Fire Scorpionos. We can pillage. And this city should actually fall here, I'm pretty sure. To the double attack from the Nausicaa Brigade. Yeah, very, very strong. Not quite dead, but definitely on the ropes. But yeah, there is the Fire Scorpion and the Musketman. Really, really good to see. Okay, sweet. I think I switched to Monarchy. Boom. And I keep Caravanseries. Don't need colonization. I don't need serfdom. I definitely want to keep in chivalry, professional army, conscription, and 1 more card would be good. I mean, Republican Legacy isn't bad because like scales really well here, as does the production. I think I'll go for the extra amenity. +1 amenity in every city is quite good. I would like to have retainers plugged in. Maybe, well, I want the serfdom because I get free builders from Conquest. So yeah, I think that all lines up nicely. So I should, in theory, wait, which guy needs a level up? You have a level up. You need a level up. There we go. What about you? You could get a level. And you don't need one. We'll take the city. Lyria is mine. I get a free builder and I should get a governor title, right? Yeah, capturing a city-state should give me a governor title. So if I come up here, boom, we have a governor title. Incredible. Incredible stuff. I can keep the city of Lyria. It died really, really easily. And now we can theoretically move Magnus into the city, and in 5 turns with this builder, after we've done all of our repairs, we can do a chop world tour, chop out some more Nausicaa brigades, and continue the meme. Oh, we're missing Niter. So that's the big rub. Okay. I missed that this had a Niter requirement, which means I should have been improving my Niter earlier. Well, that kind of makes it a little bit weaker, actually. And not just a little bit weaker, but that's actually a big thorn in the side of that unit, because if you don't hit Niter, well, you're just shit out of luck, to be honest with you. But it definitely still has power, though. So let's declare war on Maecht. That's our next stop. Killing city-states just holds so much value, strangely enough, which is kind of an odd thing to say, because it usually has negative value. But I feel like this is one of the few civs that actually wants to murk city-states. Dude, these Nausicaa brigades are insane at murking infantry. It's crazy. Also, I have way too many trade routes and not enough traders. It's become a problem. I think my trade routes are getting pillaged. So I have the city center, I have the commercial hub of the aqueduct, I have the Nilfgaardian Imperial camp, all fully built, which kind of just says to me, make more Nausicaa brigades. Like, these are just good units. Ooh, yeah, right. So the big thing is we need to get to printing. Printing is a big thing. If we can get printing, that's a huge step up. We also need to get our intelligence agency and our spies out. We are working on diplomatic service, which will also be spies. Okay, so everything is kind of lining up for the civ. Now, that's the thing. I think we're kind of taking advantage of a lot of the benefits of this civ, but there's still a few missing, right? Like, we're not using the diplomatic visibility bonus. We're not using the Fire Scorpion yet. So even though I have the civ essentially firing on all cylinders, and we're a little bit behind, I think that's going to start changing. I definitely feel like this would have been a lot smoother if I hadn't have been attacked, because then I could have chosen when and where to engage, and I could have used all my resources like perfectly in the right way. And I also feel like if I had gone for a golden age, it would have been a lot smoother too. But no, that's just kind of the way the game unrolls. Sometimes when you're doing like a little bit of a test, you kind of have to make mistakes to figure out what will work in future. So, you know, it's a little bit of a It's a little bit of a meme. But you know what isn't a meme? The amount of damage that these guys do to city walls with just a great general backing them up. I gotta give way more respect to the great general catapult push. It's actually insane. And I have not been giving enough respect, and I'm fully converted now after playing. This is really cool. This is actually a really cool thing about mods too, is that it's actually given me a new perspective on the entire game. I have new ideas. I'm invigorated with new potential here. All right, let's smash this city. A couple of these guys do have promotions, so I should keep that in mind. Like, look at that. That's gross. That's gross. I'm even behind technologically, you could say. And I'm still like cracking these boys over the head. I tell you what, dude, these Nilfgaard brigades, I thought they were low tempo, but their tempo is actually insane. You gotta give them mad respect. They are just like slightly better knights, but they attack. The attacking twice thing really gives them some power. All right, let's go ahead and smash down this city. We want to gather as much experience on my catapults as possible. You're ready for a second promotion if you take that city, which is a beautiful thing. So that's another free builder, and the city had a builder in it, and another governor title, which is super pogged, because I can go to Black Marketeer and Magnus now, and I can make Fire Scorpions, potentially buy them for an 80% discount. Like, I could chop out Fire Scorpions here for like two niter to chop out Fire Scorpions in a Magnus city. That's huge. So where is next? I think I have to try and kill Temeria. I think I am at war with Cadwin. Temeria has better culture and science though, so I feel like I need to like take them out because they're like my big contender. And my units are positioned to take them out. I could go for Beauclair, but I think I'm going to push Dorian. Potentially like have a settler in position to drop down the second Dorian flips just for that like tiny bit of passive loyalty. Easy does it. I think I can push into that, especially if I get my Fire Scorpions, and I'm just now getting the finances to do that in terms of like niter and stuff. Boom. I should probably also plug in the 50% resource discount card. But look at this bad boy, 58 combat strength. Ooh, baby, I'm looking forward to this. Now my units are set up in a way that I have land superiority and not siege superiority. Like, I'm not set up to break cities just yet. But what I like is I conquer cities and I can send builders back down the line to chop out units. I don't like that Cadwin is at war with me, and he's like a little bit ahead technologically, which is giving him an edge that I wasn't expecting, because he has like cuirassiers and stuff. The only thing about the Nausicaa is they're insanely expensive. And I mean insanely. Like, what do these guys cost again? 7 gold per turn to maintain. That's kind of nutty. I'm going to put this city on gold focus to try and bring my cash up, and also run, well, food and gold focus, I think, is the thing to do. Now, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to lock in tiles manually. Let's take off the focus. So strong tile, strong tile, strong tile, strong tile. And then 2 of these. Ooh, no, these aren't as good. You know what the city needs? The city needs a goddamn builder. Awkward. I'm hoping for some pillages inside Temeria. Oh my god, Lyria was obliterated. So I think, considering the game isn't going like amazingly, but we still did really, really well. I think in multiplayer, Civ has a lot of potential. I think the big thing is, that happened for me this game, is my land was kind of weak, and my timing attack was delayed by a AI attack. But in theory, I think I could grind this out. But that's not the goal of this. We're trying to just explore the Civ and understand them. And I think, like, fundamentally, the Civ kind of works, right? Like, we're in a decent position. You might not look like it, right? Because we're on online speed. But I think we're in a position where we could grind this out. Like, with Fire Scorpions, like attacking, like, look at this. Hold on, let me get sight on this city. So if I look at this Fire Scorpion attacking the city of Dorian, like, look at that damage. I just have to get a Fire Scorpion within range of that city and I delete it. And that is despite the fact that I'm a quarter or third of full test science. So I think this has huge potential, this Civ. So I definitely feel like the Empire on Nilfgaard works fundamentally as a Civ for doing like timing attacks and stuff like that. You kind of needed at least a reasonable start. We had like an okay, I mean, we got a free settler, but we had free settler, but a trash land. And there was definitely a few mistakes we could have made. I say trash land when I've got like Galapagos and like a pretty damn good capital. I think maybe more builders. There's like a little bit of optimization we could do, but fundamentally, the concept of this Civ works really well. And I think it's going to be a really, really fun thing to maybe do a full playthrough of one of these Civs. Anyway, that's going to be it from me. I love you all very much. I hope you enjoyed the mod spotlight. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.